Welcome to this week's session with the Putnam County District Library and the Guiding Ohio Online Grant. For the next, January, February here, we're going to be looking at Microsoft Word. I'm actually using 2016, which would be very similar for whatever version of Microsoft you might have. We're going to take this, we're going to kind of look in great detail at Word itself, and each week we will be looking at different tabs within Word. So what I've got in front of me right now is a document that I had made ahead of time. And before we get started, I just briefly wanted to go through some of the basic terms and information when it comes to using Word. This whole area on the screen is what is referred to as the window. And then if we take this and kind of break this down, this area up at the top here is called the ribbon. And then down here at the bottom is what is referred to as the status bar. And down here in the status bar, you can see where it has like 15 to 74 words. It has down here where we can zoom in and out on the document itself. It's not changing the size of any of my font. It's just simply making it larger or smaller. And then the home, insert, draw, these are all what are referred to as the main tabs. And that's what I was talking about. We're going to look at each one of these tabs every week. And then down below the tabs where the ribbon is located, you can see there's kind of a slight divide with this line, and these are called groups, and you can see the groups are labeled down below, and then within the groups are what are called buttons, and then some of the buttons have like a downward facing arrow, and that is a gallery. So what that's doing is it's giving you additional choices that you could pick. So if I look at this, we're going to start. Before we actually get started, I want to mention that sometimes you might not see the different groupings here. If you do not have that, if you go under your Word to Preferences, and right here is the option to View, and this is where you could change some of the settings and the information that you see. If I go click here on View, right here it has Show Group Titles. I have that checked. So that's what allows me to see the wording of font, paragraph, etc. down below. So that's where you would make any of those changes in terms of your appearance. So let's look here at the document that I've made. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this document, I'm going to grab it in the corner, and I'm going to shrink it up so that what I have then is the same information without any of the changes that you see. So I've taken that and I've got that right here, same words. The very first thing that I want to look at is in this area called Styles. Styles is just an easy place for if you are creating that you can very quickly pick a different style. So what I'm going to do is this area here at the top where I have Microsoft Word, that's like my title. So I'm going to click on that. Now if I click on anywhere I click is where my cursor goes. If I double click on a word, it highlights the word. If I triple click 3 times, it highlights that whole line. So I've highlighted that whole line by clicking, and then I'm going to go here to title. And what that's going to do is that's going to automatically change that to a title. Or I could click, and I believe what I used was heading. I'm going to try heading. There we go. That is heading is what I had used. I could heading, title, whatever, it would make that change. And then what I did was I had went here into my paragraph area. And so I'm going to jump back then to the next grouping, which is paragraph. And here is where my different alignments are. Currently, it's aligned left. Notice when I click, or I shouldn't say click, when I drag over a button, it tells me what the button will do. So currently I'm aligned left. If I go center, that is what's going to give the same appearance as what I have over here. And I can also align to the right. I can justify, which justifies something that you would see, especially if you were maybe doing something like where you would have maybe like a newsletter with different column-like areas that you want everything to be justified across the page. So I've got that. So these are my different alignments then. This one would take and line my paragraph and spacing up. And notice currently my spacing is set at 1. And if I were to change this, then I could change my whole document. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly, I will highlight my whole page just to show you, for example, and I'm going to change my alignment to 2.5. And now notice how my spacing changed. Up here at the top are my favorite buttons because this is my undo. So everything that I did, I can change it right back. Now, the next line has welcome to this training session with Putnam County District Library. And so we're going to go from paragraph. For a minute here, we're going to go over to the font area. And I'm going to show you how, again, remember I said double click, got the word. And if I want to click and highlight the whole thing, because nothing is going to change unless I have something highlighted. So I have this highlighted now. And if I go to my font area, this is where I can pick and change all of my different fonts. So I'm going to just, for example, right now, notice I have this highlighted, and this is the type of font that I have, because that's what's showing there. If I change this, I can change to my American typewriter font, just as an example there. The next line, I have my Putnam County District Library. Notice here how that font looks different. Again, I'm going to highlight this line. And this time I'm going to start going across these buttons. So this is bold. So I've just made that bold. The next line is the italics. So again, highlight my line and italics. I guess I skipped one. I'm going to highlight this. We'll make this italics and underlined. So now I have it underlined. Now remember I talked about this down arrow and how with that down arrow, that's like a gallery and it gives you more options. So if I click on that, what that's doing is it's giving me additional options that I can use for my line. So instead of just the basic line, I could do a dotted line, or I could do like a squiggly line. So that is what a gallery will do. It'll show me additional options that I might have. And then the next one is the strike through. So I highlight, go to my ABC with the strike through. And then here I purposely had put Putnam County District Library. I put it twice because I wanted to show you if I highlight this, this is where I can go up here and see where I have my X with the 2 because it's making it a subscript. And the following one, if I highlight, oops, well, let's undo. Highlight here. I'm getting more than what I want. There we go. Got it? And then I'm going to go to my superscript. So here it moved it down, here it moved it up. Then the next line, Putnam County District Library, this one, I ended up going to, I have all of these different text effects. Again, I have a gallery, so I can pick any of these, as well as notice here, I have even additional options. So I can simply pick one and it's going to change how that looks. That did what was called a glow effect. I had actually, I had just changed, I believe is what I had done here. And then here I had highlighted. So I simply clicked and highlighted. Come on, highlight. I was picking no color. So again, I had to go to my gallery because I have all of these different options. So I highlight in yellow, but I could highlight in a different color as well. Notice when I did that just now, nothing happened because I didn't have anything picked. But notice how my cursor changed, and I can then drag across and highlight. And it's going to continue to highlight wherever I click and drag because that's what I have as active. That's what's currently on. And then I'm going to click on my A with the red underneath because what that is doing, and that is my font color. And again, I have all these different options. And so if I were to highlight and I click on my A, I'm changing my font color there. And then the last one here, I'm going to show you how if I highlight this, I'm going to go back up here to the top. We've talked about the different font styles. We can change the size by clicking and picking a number. The other thing that you can do is you can simply go to where this A is bigger and it'll enlarge, or I can go to the A that is the smaller and it's going to make it a different size and bring it down. Notice this number's changing as I'm doing that. So this might be an option that you want to use, like, because you're trying to maybe figure out what size. So instead of going over here and picking a number, you could just click here and change as you go. And then if I click on the A here, notice again I have a gallery. And what this is doing is it's letting me change it based upon quickly. I can just change everything to lowercase. I can change everything to uppercase. I can capitalize each word. I can toggle the case. So that's what my galleries there is allowing to happen. And then if I go to my A with the eraser, again, make sure that's highlighted. I'm going to go to the A with the eraser, and it is going to clear and erase my what I had there. It's in terms of the effect that I had previous. Then I had went to paragraph. So we've looked at font, all the different fonts. We've looked at style. The one thing I didn't show you with style was if I went to click here out to the side where I have style pane, my style pane. What's kind of nice with this is it will show you going down the page here, and it gives you, what's nice is it gives you an example of what you're going to see. So I kind of like, if I'm going to be using anything to do with my styles, I kind of personally like to have that open just so that I can see that. And I got that by clicking here, and then if I click on it again, it'll take it away. And then we'll look at paragraph. We touched on paragraph a little bit when we looked at the different ways to do the alignment, but I didn't do anything with, I'm going to highlight all of my Putnam County District libraries here, and I'm going to simply click on, this is what is referred to as the bullets. Now it's going to do what you see up here in the button itself, but again, I have a gallery, so I can pick different options for my bullets so they can appear different than what you see here. So I could change them to a bullet that is clear in the center. And then I also have my numbering, so I could change to 1, 2, 3, but again, I have a gallery where I can pick different numbering systems if I were to choose that. And then I have this next area where it's multi-level list. So if I was doing something with a list that I wanted, kind of like a table of contents type of thing, I could make and change that there. Then when I click here, I don't currently have anything indented, but this is going to get rid of indents, or it's going to increase my indents. So if I indent like this, you can see how I'm going across the page. If I go like this, it's taking my indents back. Notice across the top here where my indents are, it is consistent with the spacing. The one thing that you want to keep in mind is that you do not do anything with spacing when you're typing. For example, if I'm down here at the if I hit my space bar, even though something appears to be lined up, it's not necessarily in the correct spacing. And if you were to do that with your space bar, it's going to maybe look lined up on the page, but when you go to print, it won't be. So you want to always make sure that you are using your indents. And then this A to Z will sort. So I'm going to click on the A to Z and I'm going to sort, which is it's kind of silly to do with what I'm doing here, but we'll just go ahead. We'll say okay. And notice it's basically sorting and putting it in what would be alphabetic order, which doesn't really apply for like what I'm showing you. And then I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna go back up here to my undo button just to get it back. And then I do want to show you, this is the show hide button. If I click on the show hide button, you will see every time that there's been a paragraph, a return, that's going to show. And now if I were to print this, those don't print out. That's just to show me how this document was created and what it looks like. This to me becomes very handy if I am taking a document and information that someone else has created, because sometimes it can be kind of hard if I see something that I might want to change and I don't know what and how they've done the layout on the page. If I turn this on, this hide show, it makes it very easy for me then to say, oh, okay, here they hit a return, or here they had hit the space bar. So that is what happens and helps with that. And then the last area here to look at within the Home tab is the paste. Notice here I've got the paste on. If I click on paste, it's going to paste the last thing that I had copied. If I highlight something, when I highlight it, I go to copy, and then if I go to paste, it's going to put that in. Honestly, for myself, a lot of times I don't use this area much to speak of, because I'm constantly using the shortcuts for, which is the right click with copy paste. So that is basically the Home tab area within Microsoft Word. Next week, we are going to be looking at the next tabbed area, which is Insert. So I hope everyone had a nice holiday break, and look forward to talking with you and seeing our instructions next week.